All right, here's a quick overview of what is all on here on this analytics page, okay, and the campaigns. So this information, here's a date filter right here, and it shows you what dates it's showing for all this information. And I'm going to just go through every single column and what is actually shown on here, just to give an orientation. So here's a campaign, and that's just the name of the campaign. So this is bold chalk markers, 8-pack. And in this title, it was literally in the title was added broad to it. Okay, that's just part of the title. Okay, targeting type is manual or auto. This is just how you are targeting your customer. Okay, so you're saying, hey, I want to show up exactly for chalk markers, or I want to show up for best chalk markers. You're saying which keywords you want to show up for, so that's manual. And then over here, auto, Amazon's doing a lot of the work, and they're picking the keywords and your competitors' products you want to put the product on, or complementary products. States, this just is enabled, paused, or archived. Okay, enabled means your ads are eligible to show. You're telling Amazon, hey, whatever's in this campaign is okay. You can go ahead and run it. And the opposite would be pause. So you're saying, hey, Amazon, maybe I'm out of stock, or maybe I'm gonna run out of stock soon, or maybe this campaign is not very good. I'm gonna pause it. So you can go in and pause that campaign, and it will no longer be showing the ads, even if the ads inside of it are set to be enabled themselves. If the campaign is paused, then none of the ads will be showing on Amazon when somebody searches. Archive just means you never want to ever turn on the campaign again and get rid of it, and Amazon stops processing data for you and stops doing a bunch of stuff, and so it saves your account some, space and whatever. But you only archive a campaign if you never want to turn it on again. Bid strategy. This is a relatively new feature to Amazon. For all of time, it's been down only. That was default before we had this option, which just means when you're saying how much you want to spend on an ad, so let's say that's $1, normally that's like, hey, you're telling Amazon I'm going to spend $1. But since the beginning of time, it's always been like, well, they could say, I don't like your ad because it's not so relevant to our customers, and I'm going to actually really put like a bit of like 60 cents because I'd rather take this other guy's dollar. And Amazon makes that choice without your consent. They just kind of make it. And so in this case, you're telling them, go ahead, bring my bid down. If you don't want to show it, you don't think it's going to be good based on your data, Amazon, because I trust you wholeheartedly. You're amazing, Amazon. Go ahead and do it. You believe they have your interests at heart, or whatever. Just by default, that's what they're going to do. You have $1, but it's not performing so well. They might bring it down 80 cents, 50 cents, all the way down to 0. You could not enter on what's called the bid auction, which just means all the advertisers are saying, hey, I want to have my ad to show. But if Amazon has done only, they can say, well, you're not going to enter on that auction. You don't have the chance to show up because we don't think your ad is relevant, or whatever other reason they have. Then the other one is up or down, which just means you can let Amazon put it down, but you can also say to bring it up. If you have a chance, if Amazon sees that, hey, if you were at $1.50 or even up to $2, so it goes up to 100% increase, and they think that you are going to be likely to make a sale, they're going to go ahead and do that up to $2. So there you go. And then fix is saying, hey, Amazon, don't mess with my stuff. I know what I'm bidding and how much I want to spend. Leave it at that. And again, your bid still is the maximum you're going to spend on one click. So even if you have fixed bid, it doesn't mean you're going to spend $1 per click. It just means that's your actual bid when Amazon does its algorithm to see who's going to show up. And they're not going to mess with that. Okay. Budget. This is your daily budget. This is how much you're going to spend maximum in a day. Now, yes, it overspends sometimes just a little bit. So you'll see in a second, like, yeah, this budget is $60, but sometimes in one day it's going to spend more. But it's pretty close. If you have a budget of like $2, it still might spend like $5 or even $10 sometimes because it might happen really fast. But generally something like here, it's not going to go off by more than, let's say $10 or $6. Like 10 or 20% is probably the variance you're going to get. So you could spend, let's say, $66, $72. But above that, don't really think that's going to happen. You could just expect a little bit of an overshooting. And it doesn't mean you're going to spend that much money either. If I put $10,000 here as a budget, the spend might be, let's say, whatever it's going to be, the maximum amount. But it just means stop at this limit. It doesn't actually affect how much money you're spending. It just gives a top limit. So let's say you're spending $1 a day and your budget's $5. Putting it to 20 is not really going to do anything for you in terms of getting you more people clicking on your stuff. Spend is how much money you've spent in this certain time period. So this is 7 days. And if you go to yesterday, you can see the spend was $66 for this campaign. That's just how much money literally you're paying Amazon. And sometimes this number changes a little bit. Amazon has like some stuff they'll say, oh, we see that your competitor was clicking on your thing, and they might adjust that, but it's not super common they do that. This changes slightly, but not that much. Sales. This is for that same time period. How many your product value in sales that Amazon is saying came from these clicks. In this case, it's $158. And so you spend $66.93 and you get $158 in sales from that. Now, Amazon calculates it. If a person clicks right now on your ad, then if that person buys anytime from now until 30 days from now, they're going to go ahead and change this sales number accordingly. Okay. So right now it says $66.93 and here's $158. However, tomorrow if I go back and I say, show me like 2 days ago, or I'm going to check this same 7 day period over here, and I'm going to check it in 7 days. This number would change. Now the change generally is not major. Okay. It's normally from we've seen the data, it changes. The first day you have more than 90% of the sales on most keywords in most situations if you average it out. There are some weird cases where, hey, a person clicked and then like 2 weeks later they bought 50 units of something, and this might change drastically, but it's not common. It doesn't happen very often. Okay, the first day most of the sales come in, and the first 7 days, normally like 96, 97% of the sales come in, and then that last, 7th day to 30th day, some more sales do come in, but it's very, like, it doesn't, unless you're probably selling like a huge fitness machine or something that goes for thousands of dollars, the people might click on it and then put in their cart and then buy it like weeks later. Normal shopping pattern of products, under $50 is that this is not, normally gets updated like that day, and then first 3 days you're going to get most of it anyway. Well, the first day you get most of it. Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to go on that point too much. Next one, advertising cost of sale. This is basically a number, and the lower this number, the more efficient your ads, okay? So here is your spend. This is how much money you spend in the 7 days. This is how much money you made in sales in the 7 days. And this is just the spend divided by the sales, okay? And it's this number is great. And as you see, we have it on the top. It's the very first one. For all of the stuff on this account right here, you have $1,400 in spend, $4,500 in sales. So the percentage is 32%, right? That's this divided by this, okay? So it's about a third. So in dollar value of sales, you're spending at about a third in ads, okay? It's your cost of ads. And again, this is not for your whole account. This is just for the clicks and the sales attributed to that click, okay? So again, guys, and I know this is, if you already know all about advertising, you probably know this, but I want to do an overview just for guys who don't have all this stuff down, and understand it very well. So if I spend $10, right, and I make $100 in sales, my advertising cost of sale, or ACOS, as most sellers call it, would be 10%. Okay, 10% is this fantastic ACOS, and the reason is, whatever your profit margin of your products, like most sellers on Amazon will say it's at least okay to spend about that much. Okay, so if the profit margin on this product is, let's say, 30%, this is actually still totally okay to spend. A lot of guys will go and spend up to 60% even on a product that has a profit margin of 35. And just because, honestly, these sales also will snowball, right? You can have potential of getting frequently bought together. You have organic ranking increase. You have taking sales from your competitor so they don't get those things. You have increase of market share. You have repeat buyers. There's a lot of things that these sales do to your account, rather than, hey, because maybe if your profit on this stuff, your product is like 28%, then you're actually losing money on these. Technically, right? You're actually losing money here. This is not profitable. These clicks did not make you money. Okay, unless if your profit margin here was 35% on this product, then you did make a little bit of money on this. Not a lot. But the point is, this drives more sales on Amazon. The reason we sell on Amazon rather than our own website is because we want Amazon to give us stuff. We want to show up as on their little bottom part that says compare with these items. You want to show up all over Amazon, and the way you do that is by getting more and more sales, Amazon says, hey, people like this product, they're buying it, we're going to show it in other places. Okay, the way to do that is to get this. So typically an advertising cost of sales, of course, the lower the better, but honestly, like you want to get a high volume of sales so Amazon keeps sending you more customers, you get more reviews, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so again, of course, like this one has a 21% ACoS. It's obviously made more money in profit, and this one has 67% ACoS. So this one, you know, it's unlikely to have a product with a 67% profit margin. So technically here, like there was money lost, and through this tool, you can optimize this stuff to maybe not be so high. But in some cases, this is absolutely 100% okay, just because these sales might be repeat customers for you. These sales might represent getting frequently bought together and get your organic sales to be higher. So yes, of course, advertising cost of sales, like this ACoS, we want it to be a low number, but at the same time, especially if you're starting out, you don't have a whole lot of reviews, you have to be a little more aggressive and maybe lose a little bit of money on ads, and you just need to be tracking your profitability on your entire account to make sure that you're not spending too much. Clicks, pretty simple. How many people clicked? Conversions, this is how many actual sales. So like here's the dollar value of the sales, but it didn't come from one person. It came from 116 different purchases, different transactions. Okay. This is impressions, is how many times the ad was shown. How many? If it just shows up on the page, nobody clicks on it, but it's just there. Even at the bottom of the page, if Amazon goes, oh, here's your ad, boom, and they put it, then that counts as an impression. There you go. So there you go. Impressions. 114,000 people and 948 have been able to potentially see this ad, and this is CVR. It's called conversion rate. Okay, so this is just the percentage of people that click to the person. The percentage of people that convert or that they buy. It's called converting because they're becoming a browser to a shopper. So we call it convert. And if you divide those two numbers, you get this number exactly, 27.55. That's just this number divided by this number. And this is super important to Amazon. They love to see that when people are clicking your ad, they're buying. So and they reward you with a lot of things in that case. They also reward you on this click-through rate. Okay, honestly, if this click-through rate was higher, this cost per click would be less for the same customer. So sorry, I know I skipped through some stuff here. But okay, so the conversion rate is just the people who click to the people that buy. Now listen, if you convert, it's not the only important thing. It's very important, but they also look very heavily at click-through rate right here, CTR. And that's because honestly, like here, not even 0.3%, not even 0.4% of people are clicking. And so they're saying, hey, I mean, it's good, but we're going to charge you a little bit extra, compared to, let's say, over here has a 1.6%. If it's more easy and, people are more likely to click it, they're going to give you a break because they know that, hey, they're actually making more money off of your ad over here because literally for each impression, they're making more money, right? If you look at that, like here, how much is it spent? These two campaigns spent about the same, right? But this one literally had only 30,000 impressions. This one had 114,000 impressions. So Amazon's saying, I love this bottom one because every little ad space is making them more money. Yes, the cost per click is less and cheaper, but Amazon's super happy because literally like that ad space right here is way more efficient for Amazon, but it's also way more efficient for this account, okay? So here you're only spending 20%. Like this is amazing. So good. Like the profit margin on most products, if you're doing private label, you're going to be having a profit margin of over 20%, unless you're like maybe you're just launching. So this campaign is profitable, and Amazon is super happy because literally for each impression right here, they're making a lot of money. And over here, they're happy to send the people to you. But your click-through rate, if this went up again, cost per click would go down, ACoS would go down, you'd be way more efficient because they know that people love your ad and they're going to give you a break on the cost per click. Okay, so this is cost per click. Again, this is how many people are actually clicking. How many people are converting after they click? Okay, that's conversion rate. Cost per click is literally how much each click is costing you as the advertiser. And the click-through rate is from the impressions, okay, how many clicks you're getting. So if we do the math on that, you have 421. And the math is done for you, but I'm just doing the calculator here on my hand just to show you the number. So right here, 421 divided by the impressions is 0.00366. Okay, so that's rounded up here to 0.37% click-through rate. And again, so if you had, let's say, 1,000 people see your ad, the amount of people that click on it, I believe would be 3.5. Anyway, 0.37 thousand people. Yep. So for 1,000 people, approximately almost 4 of them will click. Okay, that's just to give you a little idea of what that number means. Okay, so that's just an overview of all of these things over here. And then this stuff right here, you can see the performance on these different filters. If you click this, actually the numbers change to show you how you perform at that moment. And then up here is the aggregate for the entire account, the last 7 days. What's the advertising cost? And you can see, right, on yesterday it has a higher cost, in 7 days it's less. And the reason that is, again, as the day goes on, you get some of those sales. Now here it's kind of large. It probably won't, like this yesterday will probably not go down because it also changes by day. I'm not going to get too much into it, but just this is an aggregate, okay? All these campaigns together, this is the aggregate advertising cost of sale, the aggregate spend, aggregate sales, aggregate conversions, aggregate clicks, aggregate click conversion rate. And then here you have a bunch of filters, which we can get into. So let's just say like, hey, anyway, well, this filter is covered in another video, but it's just say like you can only see campaigns that have, targeting type. You want only one manual campaigns. So let's say we're going to show that, then all the other ones disappear. So you can see your the manual campaigns here is 29.21% ACOS as opposed to the auto, which obviously would have a higher one because the average was higher. So again, we're going to take that off and we're going to say, hey, let's just look at the autos. How are the autos performing? Okay, so autos here, again, 57% ACOS. But then the spend is a lot less. But it just gives you an idea. If you want to look at your campaign and look at different stuff, look at how this is working, you literally use this filter and you can see, show me only the ones that are running. Show me ones with a lot of impressions. All this stuff you can filter, and these things will change to show you that, and you can change the date range. Thank you very much. This is Samurai Seller Analytics page, a little overview.